1 second. Of course, the computer would. Good evening. My name is Kenya S. Hawkins, and I'm so grateful to be with you guys this evening to discuss creating a healthy mindset. So I am going to share my screen because I have a presentation. And if you have any questions, could you please just put them in the chat and they will be addressed at the end of the presentation. So as the bio said about me, I am a lifelong High Parker, home ownership mental health advocate, meaning that I really am passionate about mental health and combining home ownership, having those two together. And I am a third generation real estate visionary. So I'm going to go through the Maslow hierarchy of needs. So Abraham Maslow was a psychologist, and he believed that human beings' behavior and motivation was dictated by 5 needs. So these needs are physiological needs, safety needs, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. So here is the pyramid for Maslow's hierarchy of needs, starting at the top with self-actualization being the highest form. That's a desire to become the most that one can be. And typically the phrase now was pinned, reaching your highest self. After that, prior to that is esteem, respect, self-esteem for yourself, status, recognition, strength, freedom. And these are things that feed our esteem. Love and belonging, that's relationships. So that's friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection. Security needs, personal security, employment, resources, health, property. And physiological needs, air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction. So I'm going to start from the bottom up, which starts at physiological needs. So physiological needs, the need I'm going to focus on is shelter. That is what home ownership does for you. It provides you permanent shelter. But also with home ownership providing you permanent shelter, there are some things that you have to do to secure permanent shelter. And here I have on-time payments. So that's your mortgage and your taxes, and creates a safe space. So going back to mortgage, it is imperative that as a homeowner, you make on-time monthly mortgage payments. And if you are not able to do that, then you need to work with your lender to create some kind of payment plans with them in order to make sure that you are securing your property and not going into foreclosure due to mortgage. Also, one of the biggest ways that a lot of homeowners lose their properties is due to property taxes, not paying property taxes. And typically, in working with your lender, you can have your taxes added into your mortgage. So what I would encourage you when you are thinking of home ownership and just being realistic with yourself, if you know that at times money management is not your strong suit, to start thinking now of ways that you would not fall victim to losing your permanent shelter in regards to mortgages or taxes. And lastly, home ownership, it creates a safe space. You are able to go into your home, design it as you see fit, and create a space that is just for you. Safety needs. So with safety needs, I want to stress here being healthy and realistic. Safety needs and Maslow hierarchy of needs is a sense of self, security, job security, health security, safe, and environment. So when I say create a realistic picture, I'm speaking about debt to income ratio. This is where we'll get into a little bit of finance and job security and health security and safe environment. So your debt to income ratio is the amount of debt that you have compared to your income, what's coming in. So typically, most lenders are going to look at your debt to income ratio to even determine if they want to give you any financing to purchase a home. And that goes for cars, credit cards, anything. They're always looking at your debt to income ratio. And thinking about security and maintaining your shelter, do you have a budget? Are you saving? So if you right now, the purpose of this is to prepare your mind and shift your way of thinking so that you are thinking like a homeowner. So budgeting is key. Also having a savings is key because there are costs that are associated with purchasing property that you would have to come out of your pocket with. For example, there's earnest money. That's money that you put down to show that you're serious about purchasing your home, as well as there can be attorney fees that you would have to pay out of pocket in regards to securing home ownership. A safe environment. Safe environment means that you are providing a safe environment for yourself. So I encourage you when looking in communities to do your research. Look into if there is, for example, if you are thinking about moving in Chicago, communities within Chicago, reach out to the Chicago Police Department, get stats for that area. If you're thinking about moving to a suburb, you can do the same thing. Reach out to the local enforcement in that area to get an understanding of the community and just to get an understanding of, is this a community that you would do well in? Would this community provide a safe environment for you? And health security. A lot of communities have different amenities. For example, Chicago, we have beautiful park districts, we have parks. I consider these health security. These are facilities that you can use to sustain your health. They have low cost memberships, and they're just great in the community. And we have a lot of green space, as well as suburbs and surrounding counties. They offer the same amenities. And again, do your research. Think about when you are looking to purchase, where are your medical providers? Are they within a great radius for you? Because as of right now, we all see gas prices are high. So little things like this that might not seem much can definitely impact your budget and how you save to be able to sustain your home of your future. Belongingness and love needs, strong bonds, love, and relationships. So healthy relationships is another way that a lot of us, well, I would say most of us, dictates our actions and how we move through life, or just how we move in personal or professional settings. And in home ownership, healthy relationships, I consider community engagement. Community engagement can mean, are you attending CAPS meetings? Are you familiar with your beat officers? It also ties into neighborhood engagement. Do you know your neighbors? And more importantly, what skill set do you have to bring to the community that you're moving into to foster community engagement if it's not present in that area? You know, um, most of us, we are mature adults on this call. We hear a lot of elders talk about it takes a village to raise a child. And back in the day, there was more camaraderie. Communities took care of each other. You can speak to someone's child. And I still believe that we can do that in our communities. We just have to step up and do it. But there's also a way to do it. So I encourage you to think about what strong bonds and relationships can you bring to that community that you are thinking of moving in that will, one, make your stay there pleasant and enjoyable, but also two, it adds to the community that you are in. And systemic engagement, when I say systemic engagement, I'm just thinking about partnerships within the community, local retailers, again, Chicago Police Department, and I refer to Chicago because I'm just very familiar with Chicago. I am familiar with surrounding communities, but Chicago is a great example because of all the systemic engagement pieces that they have for residents. You know, joining block clubs, being instrumental in your block club, again, going to merchants that's in your neighborhood, having relationships with them. If you do, for example, book bags, things of that nature. This is a great way to form healthy relationships. And also a result of that as a property owner, when your neighborhood is beautiful, when you're all pitching in to keep it up, it increases the value in your home and the value in your neighborhood. And you have people who want to move to your neighborhood and want to be a part of your neighborhood, and you shift the dynamic of your neighborhood to where you guys do become a village. So esteem needs, taking pride in ownership, respect for yourself, respect for the community and your neighbors. I touched a little bit previously on property maintenance. So just to go deeper into that, as you ride around different communities within the city, you can see buildings that are dilapidated or not being well taken care of. You can go down one block and it's immaculate, but then you could turn the corner and the next block, you really forget where you are. So property maintenance is very key, and it feeds into the esteem needs of being a homeowner. When you take care of your property, one, you are reducing costs that you could possibly incur if you're not taking care of your property. And again, it brings value to your property and it brings value to your neighborhood. And also too, other homeowners see that you are serious about your property and serious about your investment. And for those investors that are on the call that are possibly saying, well, my first property, I'm going to keep it, but then I'm going to purchase me another property. This is a great way to maintain that investment if you do decide to rent, Airbnb, whatever you may choose to do, that you don't have to shell out money because these are things that you did not pay attention to early on. So property maintenance is key. It really boosts your esteem and being a homeowner. And again, it shows to your community that you take pride in home ownership. And a wealth mindset. Purchasing a home, condo, commercial space, multi-unit, whatever you choose to purchase, it just creates wealth. It creates generational wealth. As I said in my bio, my grandparents were very intelligent. They came from Mississippi. My granddad worked at the steel mill. My grandmother was a housewife until my granddad passed, but they purchased a property in High Park, a 2-flat building on Woodline. And that building sustained my family for generations. And my family did decide to sell the building, but my grandmother, what she did, she continued to purchase property. She purchased co-ops, and she was able to provide a home for all of her children, even give them down payments, even down to the grandchildren. So that one investment that my grandparents made has sustained my family and continues to sustain my family. So esteem needs, when you think about that and think about the esteem of yourself, think about everything you're doing to get to becoming a homeowner is eventually setting you up for wealth for yourself, but also for your family. It's a great investment. So now we're at self-actualization. So we're getting ready for home ownership. So I'm going to share with you guys just briefly the types of homes, finances. So different property types. We have a single family home. That is a home that is typically for a family or individual. It can be detached or attached. So an example of a single family home that's attached would be a townhome, and a single family home would be a bungalow, something similar to it. Well, it would be a bungalow. That's a single family home. Multi-units are a Chicago staple. We're known for those. Those are your 2 flats, your 3 flats, your multi-unit buildings. Typically, graystones are what most are familiar with. And just as a fun fact, Inglewood Inglewood is one of the areas that is known to have the most available 2 flats and is known for their 2 flats. And in Boston, a fun fact, for their multi-units, they call them triple deckers because most of them are 3 flats. They have 3 apartments. A condominium is an attached, similar to an apartment. It could be in a high-rise building, typically in most urban cities. Condominiums are typically great for someone who has retired or just for someone who does not want the hassle of taking care of a property on their own. They're able to pay their assessments, which will contribute to the upkeep of the condo, AKA condominium, but we call them condos for short. And then you have a co-op. So a co-op is where you have shares in the building structure. It functions similar to a condominium. They both have, you pay assessments for both. But with a condominium, going back, they have a homeowners association, typically as a HOA. So that's really all of the owners. They form a group, and they are the governing body of that building, as well as co-ops. They have a board that really works to ensure that all of the monies that are being collected is being used to take care of the building, as well as they have governing policies for the buildings. So, here in Chicago, we love to have our backyard parties. We love to do that once the weather breaks and break out those grills. But I also want you to keep in mind, when going into a condo or co-op situation, they have bylaws and they have rules. And one of them might be that you just can't have those large backyard parties or barbecue. So these are things that you have, because there are shared spaces. So let me say that. The shared spaces would be the backyard, the front yard. Some you have to reserve, or just depending on how flexible the association is, you can just go back there at any time and just have a cookout. But just to give you guys an idea of condos and co-ops and the difference between single family and multi-units, condominiums, you do have a governing body that governs the building. So that's something to think about, especially when I was talking about healthy relationships and community engagement. Living in an environment where it's shared space. Are you a people person? Is that something that you want to do? How active would you be on your HOA? These are things that, again, they might not seem big, but they are things to consider when purchasing a home. And let's talk about the price point. So, I believe in vision, I believe in manifesting, but again, we have to be realistic. And price point is something that we have to be realistic about. So this is where you are familiar with your finances. Right here is where I can't stress credit enough. All of you on the call should know your credit score. You should know where you are, and you should have a goal of where you want to be, because you don't want any surprises when you start your lending process. So there are several websites, and My Turn to Own has resources for you guys to get more in depth into your credit, but I'd strongly encourage it. That is something that is definitely needed. Credit is power. So understanding your credit, how you might need to, what are the ways that you can improve your credit. This also helps with your price point. And also too, in developing your price point and understanding your price point, there are documents that you would need to gather to provide your lender. So now is the time to get organized, because typically lenders ask for W-2s, they want pay stubs. It is a lot of documentation and paperwork. So I would encourage you now, if home ownership is your path and you know that you're ready, that you start preparing yourself and gathering all your documents, so that once you meet with a lender, you're ready to go. So in the pre-approval process, as I talked about earlier, finding your price point, they will calculate your mortgage as well as your taxes, because they want to make sure that you are able to afford where you're going to live, and that you will also be able to still sustain. So think about that. And willingness to live in one place. Typically, home ownership, going into the lending process, these are 30-year mortgages. So think about you and how you move. Are you comfortable with staying in this place for possibly maybe the next 30 years? Or again, are you thinking about going the investing route? You'll only be here for a couple of years and then you'll move into another property, or you'll rent it out, whatever the case may be. But in preparing your mind for the home ownership process, self-actualization is key. Where do you want to live? What are your deal breakers? Do you have to have a yard, or do you have to have 3 bathrooms? Think about these things, because you're going to be in this place for a very long time. And a lot of terms you might hear often are turnkey. So turnkey is a property where you really don't have to go in and do any work. It's move-in ready. Or do you want a property where you can go in and do some renovations and put your touch on it? But in doing that also too, I just want to jump back to price point. think about what you have in reserves to make these kind of modifications to the property. Is this something that you want to do? Are these projects that you can stretch out over a period of time? Or is this an undertaking that you truly want? So think about that when you are looking for your homes. Again, is this a place where you can see yourself? Are you happy in this space? Are you comfortable in this space? And more importantly, will you thrive in this space? Versus would this be a money pit, and would you not be happy with your purchase? Because this is a purchase, you can't take it back. You can't say I still have my receipt. It's not like that. Once you sign these papers, this is your home. So now we're going to do an exercise. We're going to do some self-actualization. So if you have a pen or paper, I want you guys to think about your dream home based on everything that I said. And I'll just go back real briefly and do a recap, and make a quick sketch. When you're thinking about your home, do you want brick? Do you want a frame? Are you looking for plenty of sunlight? What kind of community do you want to live into? Do you want a tree line block? Or do you want to live on a cul-de-sac? Or do you want to, have some country living? You just want quiet. You just want to be able to, go out and it's crickets. Think about that. How many bedrooms do you need? Think about your family size. Do you entertain often? The backyard, the front yard. Think about those things when you're doing this. But also too, as I talked about, finances is very important in a homeowner's process. So be realistic with your sketch as well and write down, if you know your credit score, write down your current credit score. If you don't know your credit score, write down that that's something that you need to look into. But if you know your credit score, where would you like to see your credit score? And let's be realistic. Credit scores don't jump up overnight. It takes some time. So really think about your timetable in regards to when you're looking to purchase. If it's a situation where you really need to move now, you need to move quickly. When doing your sketch, I want you to consider all of these different things. So I'm going to pause here and give you guys, let's say, about 2 to 3 minutes. It won't be long, but this is something that you can continue to build on, just to do a brain dump and to get everything out of your mind and on a sheet of paper. If you have smartphones, you can use your notes and your phones. You don't have to get up and go get a piece of paper. But I just really want you guys to take this space to just really dump everything that's in your mind about purchasing a home and what it would look like so that you can really see it. I know Sade was playing music earlier. Is it possible that you can do that for about 2 minutes?
So Miss Noble was playing. I'm gonna have her do it.
Okay.
Going very well. Thank you, Ms. Hawkins.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
Oh, in order to play the music, I will definitely need the screen back. Yes, ma'am. Also want to say welcome to our Chief of Staff, Mr. Don Davis is on the line.
So you guys are gonna wrap up in like 30 seconds. Thank you. So would anyone like to share what they have come up with for their vision for their home? And if you don't want to come off camera, that's fine. If you want to dump it in the chat, that's fine too. I believe I heard someone, but they sound faint.
Please feel free to raise your hand, guys.
All right, I see you, Miss Holly Henry. Yes, please take yourself off mute. Welcome.
Okay, hello.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good.
Okay. Well, I got in on the call late, but I did pick up a few pointers. You said, for the type of property that I want, that I want to start off, like you said, something very important about what your grandparents did. And that's what I'm trying to do is build generational wealth for my family and my child and my grandchildren. So my first property would be an income property. I would like to have a building or something that always keeps money generating in. Whether you're financially strapped or whatever, but by that your family and people always have somewhere to live. So that would be my goal is to get a property like you said about where your grandparents in Hyde Park, the low end. That is my general area that
Let
I
me
would like.
correct you. There is no low end in High Park.
That's funny. That's funny. That's the word we used to call it, the
Yeah.
low.
Oh, you talk about general Southside low end. Okay. Okay,
Yes,
I got you. I'm
no,
with you.
no, no.
Cause you started in High Park, honey. That's not low.
No. And that's and until I get my third property, I might not be able to get there. But thinking of where I would like to have property,
Yes.
starting off, I would, like you said, a nice neighborhood, somewhere where I can be safe and my son can be safe. I feel like he can go outside and play. So I need a backyard. I would like also maybe a 3 flat, not just a 2 flat. But is there anything else that I'm leaving out as far as my score? Right now, I'm rebuilding. I was working on my credit for the last year. Some things happened, so I'm trying to get it back up to where it was.
Mm-hmm. Good, good.
Is there anything else I didn't answer that you
Oh,
asked?
no, you did. That's great. This is your vision. So I just want to encourage you to keep building on that. Continue to get detailed. You want a 3 unit. Do you want a basement? Is that something you're looking for? Would you possibly provide laundry for your tenants? Like, I really, when I teach this, I really want people to get so specific because that's what manifestation and vision is. You have to get very specific, and when you say it, you have to claim it. And working on your credit, just take your time. I would encourage you to use your resources at My Turn to Own. I know there are a lot of people who say they can fix your credit. I can do this, I can do that. And sometimes that can hurt you more so than it helps you, and it's an expense that you don't even have to incur if you are working with agencies like My Turn to Own that are going to offer that to you. So I think that's excellent. Keep doing that. And I can't stress enough to know your credit report. You should know that like you know your social security number. You should know your credit numbers. You should know what's on your credit report at all times. So thank you. I appreciate that, Miss Holly. And I'll see you in Hop Hard when you get that building.
So I'm gonna mute myself again, right?
I believe they'll mute you. And if anyone else wants to jump in, please do. This is where we exchange ideas. So does anyone else want to share?
Yes, I want to share.
Okay.
So let's see the type of home that I want. Oh, honestly, I want a multi-unit, something with a storefront in the bottom, because I do want to open up a health and wellness center, where people can come and get different healing practices and do different things that really help them in the long.
You got muted. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. You left off with a retail, like a mixed use property, and
Yes, ma'am.
you want to provide a holistic services in your retail space.
Yes, ma'am, I do. And I'll either live at the top, I'll probably take one of the units at the top and also have a tenant at the top as well. So I'm looking at 3 levels for that. But yeah, I'm looking for something really spacious with nice lighting, something where because light, just the sun is very healing, so just having that additive into the business aspect of it, I think that'll be very good too.
Definitely. And I like that you were even detailed down to the sunlight, because that makes a big difference. Like you said, is it a bright space? That makes a huge difference in how you enjoy your property, and especially if as a business owner, bringing that light with having a holistic space. And commercial mixed use properties are always a great way to go. And again, when you are working with the lender, they will be able to provide you with different, what's available based on your income and your credit as to different ways that you can acquire a property like that and possibly even make some renovations. So, right now, I know a lot of people say, oh, the market, everything is priced high. But right now, I know if you guys are on Facebook, there are so many people right now saying they're offering different kind of credits. There are so many housing programs. So, home ownership is not something that can't happen. And being a business owner and owning property is something that can't happen. So thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you. And we do have a hand raised, Miss Tracy Gibson Jackson.
Good evening, everyone. So my vision is I definitely want something 3 bedrooms. I don't need a garage because I don't have a car, but what is essential is that wherever I live, I need to be near public transportation because that is what I depend on to get to and from particularly work and all the other places. I'm not married to any specific neighborhood. I'm really open to move, wherever, north, south, I'm open to it. Um, Definitely, would like to have 2 bathrooms, have had one bathroom all my life. So I kind of want to get the good life, so to speak, and have a second bathroom. Um, and it'd be nice to have a nice finished basement because I do like to work out. So that's really what my vision is for right now in terms of my home. In terms of my credit, it's really good. I worked on it for the last year and a half to 2 years. So my score is finally in the 700s. So I'm pleased with that. Thank you.
Nice, nice. And again, the details are key. So you want to have a space where you can work out. I like that. And that also cuts an expense of a gym membership. You want to, and what I really enjoyed is that you went back to, you brought in yourself with that one, right? So you realize that you want to live the good life. So you want to have additional bedrooms and bathroom space. And I like that you were realistic about that. At times we can say, I want a marble, you want to live in the Taj Mahal, but you don't have the Taj Mahal budget. So I like that you were realistic with acknowledging what you want. You understood your deal breakers. And I, again, encourage you to write that down. I am a vision board person. I love vision boards. Dollar Tree, well, it's not a dollar anymore. Dollar, what is it? $1.01 now. But anywho, they have the best arts and crafts section you ever want. You can go in there and get your vision board. You can get a board and just put all of this stuff on your vision board. I like to frame mine. I go to Michael's, I get me a coupon, I get the frame and I frame it. But although you guys only had 2 to 3 minutes to do this exercise, that's not how long you should typically take to create a vision board. Vision board could take up to a month. It's really you being planning. I would encourage you guys to use this Abraham Maslow hierarchy of needs to create a vision board, because it really speaks to the 5 essential pillars of human development. And this also relates to home ownership. So, however you choose to, but I just would use that as a point of reference. Ask your friends, do they have any old magazines? I don't want to encourage you guys to use all the ink and paper at work, but let's be resourceful and just pull pictures, even down to the furniture, and just put it on your vision board, even down to the fixtures, what you envision your home to be. And again, be realistic as to what the budget is. And if you don't know your budget, for example, Chef Lee, he put in 350. So I like that, because again, we all about visioning and manifesting, right? So if you want to go for 350, go for 350. There are so many websites that you can use to look at different homes. You can use Zillow, you can use Redfin. If you're working with a realtor, you can go to their website and see what properties they have up. But just get very specific and write out what your dream home would look like and get the pictures. And I just really encourage you all to really sit with that and look at that and go for it. But in every dream and in every vision, we do have to be realistic, because what we don't want is for you to set the bar so high, and when you don't reach certain levels, you're getting discouraged. Because home ownership, it's a great process, but it's a process that really teaches you patience. And it is a very reflective process, because again, in going through your credit, some feelings can come up about some decisions that was made, what you should have saved, shoulda, woulda, coulda, although they're not going to help you in that moment. But it is a very reflective process. But in the end of that reflective process, you are a homeowner. And it's a wonderful journey, and I encourage you all to take it. So with that said, would anyone else like to share? If not, I'm going to continue with the presentation so we can move with questions. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. So we went through self-actualization, and that was just the exercise we did. So what can you start doing now? First things first, create a plan for financial management. This is where you start tonight. So, perfect example. I'll use myself as an example. I love lipstick, and I will pay for lipstick. So there are some things that I've had to cut out on my path to home ownership, and that was buying lipsticks, because that money could be applied to paying down some credit cards. So that's a perfect example. So create a plan for financial management. My Turn to Own has resources that you can use to do that. So, just for example, what I did was I printed out my bank statement and I got a highlighter and I highlighted expenses that I really didn't need. And to be honest with you, I learned that I was paying for services twice, just using another company or just doing something else, or I could have bundled some services. So I want to encourage you guys to create a financial plan And then creating a financial plan that's also taking a really, really deep dive looking into your credit. There are 3 credit reporting agencies. You can obtain your credit report from those agencies. For a detailed credit report, there are some fees associated with it. There's a fantastic app called Wallet Hub that you can download. It is for free. It will show you your credit report, and it will also give you some tips and tricks in regards to working with your credit. But I do want to encourage you to work with a professional, because again, you could be doing some things that could really hinder you, because in all actuality, you do need to have a credit history, and that is what lenders look at. So work with a professional in regards to creating a plan for financial management. A lot of banks, if you believe in banking, if you have a bank account, most banks offer these free to their customers. So take advantage of those. Create a home ownership strategy. And I've given you guys some of the tools to get started with that. So just think about what your home ownership strategy is, what you want that to look like. Because your home ownership strategy means that you might need to rent for another year. And I just really want to stress that if that is the case, there is nothing wrong with that, if that is what needs to happen. If you need to downsize, move in with relatives, that, unfortunately in our communities, we tend to think that that's not a form of independence. But on your path to home ownership, if you have to get radical and you have to get vigilant to get to that end game, we don't care what people think. We don't care what it look like, because at the end of it, you're going to be turning keys into your own place. So create a home ownership strategy. I would encourage you to go into a quiet space, continue to do this vision board, and be very reflective, take breaks, because again, when we are learning things about ourselves and we are acknowledging some habits that probably weren't productive, some decisions that weren't made in the best headspace, it can be discouraging, and we don't want you to get discouraged. So creating a home ownership strategy, don't rush it, take your time. And even let me jump back to financial management plan. Again, learning about ourselves and our financial journey at times could be hard, but at the end of it, there is a goal. So again, in doing these processes, if it becomes overwhelming, if the emotions run too deep, just take a break, pause, reset, and try it again. But definitely use your My Turn to Own family for their resources to get you through. And like I said, create a dream home vision board. The Dollar Tree, I don't know if we should still call it that, but Dollar Tree has phenomenal arts and crafts. They are affordable. They have stickers. Just go take your time, enjoy creating your dream home vision board. Go to Michael's. Michael's have coupons, or if it's not Michael's, even go to Ross. Ross has an amazing arts and crafts section. I don't know if I should be plugging these places without sponsorship, but I'm going to do it. Just utilize your resources so that you can create you a dream home vision board. And lastly, patience. Patience, patience, patience. I can't stress that enough. Have patience with yourself during this process, and take this process to really make it beautiful and learn things about yourself so that you can enjoy your property and enjoy the person that you are going to become after becoming a homeowner, because you are an investor and a wealth generator. So if you would like to create vision boards, or you want to do any kind of speakings, I'm always available. My information is there. I would love to come out, even with young people. I truly believe this is something that should be taught early. So here's my contact information. And even if you want to go further and say, Kenya, I want to work with you on doing my vision board, I am a mental health advocate, so I am more than happy to assist you with that. And here is my contact information. And again, I want to thank My Turn to Own for inviting me back into your space. I'm so grateful. And I see home ownership for everyone, for all of you. And right now, we can have questions.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so I heard everything you said, and it was very enlightening. I appreciate you. Um,
Thank
the
you.
questions I had where you said, like when you're doing a vision board, that's something that I have been not trying because purposely I need to be doing that. And I was supposed to do it a year ago and I didn't, but I know that right now you said it was key. And I know I just started journaling. So my vision board is next.
Yes.
So yeah, the vision board is next.
But also too
And
with your journal, I'm sorry not to cut you off. Start writing your vision in your journal.
okay, okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Because
definitely.
a vision board, it can be overwhelming. It could be overwhelming because
Oh,
what you're doing is creating a vision. And if that vision is still somewhat murky, then how are you creating the vision board, right? So
okay,
if you're journaling, just start writing in your journal. And with journaling, we don't care about grammar. We ain't caring about periods. This is not English. This is just go for it. And
okay,
with the vision board, just take your time. If it's even setting a goal for this week just to go and get the board, then that's the goal. You know, break
yeah.
break
See,
it
that's
down.
okay.
Yeah, just break it down in segments because the home ownership process is broken down in segments. You know,
Okay,
everything we do, right, it's a process. So just start breaking it down step by step, and eventually you will get there.
okay. Thank you so much. This call was outstanding, and every time you have one, I want to be on it. But
Well,
what you
thank
said,
you.
yeah, you were dynamite, and I hope you leave a little outline so that the information I missed I can get, and I will definitely be getting in touch with you. Thanks so
Please
much.
do. Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
this week, go get your board.
I'm gonna get my board. I'm on my way in Bible study, so I'll see y'all later.
All right.
All right.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Holly, for that question. And also thank you, Ms. Kenya, for all your great insight. We do have a question here, which is when is your next vision board event?
Okay, Sister Africa. So I will get that together and I will make sure that you all are the first to know. So hold me accountable for creating that. Yes, so I will get back to you on that. But I'm looking possibly after July 4th.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you so much. And let's see, we do have another question here, which is when you are doing the home buying process, what are some do's and don'ts you would suggest to us?
First things first, do not co-sign for a car. Please do not go and co-sign for a car. Do not go and buy a car. Do not go open up new credit cards and then charge them up. Oh, let me see. What else do people do? Oh, and just going back to, there are so many people doing credit repair, and you have to have a credit history. So if you are working with someone and they are deleting, taking things off, that could possibly not work in your favor. So before you do all of that, that is why you're working with the lending professional and My Turn to Own, really utilize those resources. But I can't stress enough how people that are in the home buying process will go and co-sign for a car. They will go buy a car. They will open up lines of credit, things like that. It is going to show. It is going to be revealed. So that that is the first don't. The do is to be, when you are selecting a lender and a realtor, this is a relationship. So consider your personality, ask them questions, look at their personality. You have to be very honest and transparent about your income. So knowing that, being able to provide documents, The home ownership process is already typically lengthy because it takes 45 days to close. So if you are slow dragging with getting documents, you can't find your documents, or you are embarrassed or ashamed, you know, that's something that you would have to work through and really just be honest with the professionals that you're working with. So organization is key. Being able to turn over documents in a timely fashion, that is a great do. And taking your time, and again, knowing what you want, because your time is important and the professionals that you're working with, their time is important. And gas is high. So, no one wants to be driving around just looking at properties. You really have to know what you want. And in this market, you have to move on what you want. You have to be competitive, with your offers, because it is a seller's market. And even though the market is, things are being priced at different selling points, but you have to know what you want and you have to be able to move. And in order to do that, all of your paperwork has to be on point.
Thank you so much for that information. We do have a hand raised, Miss Tracy.
Hi, I was just going to ask if you could put her contact information back up on the screen. I didn't capture it.
Oh, there it is. It's right there in the chat.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Hawkins. We definitely enjoyed everything that you gave us this evening and all your wisdom. We do have our chief of staff on today, and I'm sure he would like to have a few words as well. So without further ado, Mr. Donamichi David.
Hey, listen, happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday. This
Wednesday.
has been an excellent Zoom call. And I would like to say, hey, for everyone that has jumped on, it tells me that, we're still desiring great information because it's a lot of good information out here. And, that's the reason why a lot of us perish is because of course, lack of knowledge. I would like to tell Ms. Hawkins, you have did an excellent job tonight in educating us where real estate is concerned, and we will take those, of course, those golden nuggets and run with them. And last but not least, I just want to encourage everybody, like seriously, the real estate, the journey of becoming a first time home buyer or a home buyer, period, it's your first or your fifth. It can be rocky, and it can have its ups and downs. It can be an emotional roller coaster, but at the end of the day, it's very rewarding. And not only that, it's okay to get discouraged sometimes. I don't want to see you quit. That's the part that I find very, sad and heartbreaking, is the moment that there's a slight amount of discouragement. It's like, I just want to take my ball and go home. You will never reach the finish line in the journey of life or the journey of being a home buyer if you don't know how to stick your chest out and follow up all the way to the end. So we have a lot of great programs that we have, of course, rolling out. We're doing a lot of outreach that'll be taking place as well. I want everybody on this call to get involved. Not only getting involved where becoming a first-time home buyer, working on credit and things of that nature, but we're doing a lot of outreach to communities that are underserved with the resources that's needed to give them what they need to transition to hopefully home ownership, but also a better way of living. So please, if you're interested in getting on board, and you want to volunteer and do a lot of the things that we're doing, please feel free to reach out to My Turn to Own. You have our number. And not only that, we have our donation link? And that's something I want to start doing every Friday. Every Wednesday. I want to start dropping our donation link, giving individuals the opportunity. You can go to our website, myturntown.org. Click on donations, $5, $10, $25, $100, so on and so on. It keeps us on this Wealthy Wednesday call. It keeps us doing a lot of things into the community. It keeps us, making sure that people have what they need during these rough and tough times whether if it's, produce, whether if it's information. I mean, the list goes on. So I'm not going to keep you all. You all did an excellent job. I like to thank my Turn to Own team. Can't do it without you. And listen, you all have an amazing, amazing Wednesday. And of course, we'll see you soon.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye. Good night, everybody. Be
Good
safe.
night.
Thanks again, Ms. Hawkins.
You